What happened when Pete Rose got involved with WWF? Because he did 3 straight WrestleManias. How does Pete Rose fit into WWE and WrestleMania 14 there in 1998?
Well, the original deal that we did with Pete was at WrestleMania in Boston. And Pete was a natural fit, and besides that, he'd like to go to the Foxborough there in Connecticut, up in New England. And Pete liked to gamble a little bit.
No.
But he was, I know, it's hard to believe.
I'd never heard those stories.
The tables. I know. So I'm giving you an exclusive.
An exclusive.
Here.
All right, you heard this first, guys. Pete Rose liked gambling.
Hard to believe. Hard to believe, folks. Pete was controversial at the time because of the whole gambling situation and being kicked out of baseball unceremoniously. But what was the famous Red Sox player that let the ball go right between his legs?
It was Bill Buckner, and I was going to ask who came up with that line. Yeah.
So Pete, being the natural heel that he is, cut promos about Bill Buckner and the Boston baseball fans, and he was just an absolute natural to come in, and I guess there was a huge rivalry there with Cincinnati and Boston, and the Boston crowd hated Pete Rose. And I would think that it was mutual. Pete wasn't too fond of them either, and they all let it be known. But he was just a natural fit. We brought him in to be a ring announcer, and in doing so, we thought, hey, wouldn't it be great if Pete Rose got tombstoned by one of the superstars, Kane, who was about 6'9", 350 pounds. So we pitched the idea to Pete that perhaps Kane get his hands on him and tombstone him, which is picking a guy up, turning them upside down, and then essentially putting your opponent's head between your crotch, dropping to your knees, kind of spearing them head first into the mat. So Pete looked at us like we were crazy, but he was game, and he was up to do it. So we did it, got a huge pop, and Pete Rose was an absolute joy to work with, man. I mean, he was easy. He was fun, very forthcoming, but he sat where what I did at the events was I was what we call the gorilla position, which is the very last point where a talent goes out from the curtain before they go out into the arena. So I'm the last person that tells them what to do. I'm the first person they see when they come back in. And Pete sat there with me all night long, and we BS through the entire event, and he was just a lot of fun.
Now I want to jump in here because I'm going to post a link to these on over at the website in the show notes at hallofverygood.com. I want the listeners who may not know who Kane is. They've seen Kane. They don't realize that, but they've seen Kane in his many incarnations. The reason why Kane's the guy, I've got to think, is because what's Kane's nickname, Bruce? He's the big red machine. He's the big red machine. And Pete, of course, when he's leading the Cincinnati Reds in the 60s and 70s, they are the big red machine. So it's I believe they call that synergy, right?
Exactly.
And then so Pete comes back in 1999. So WrestleMania 15 comes back, but he doesn't come back as Pete. He comes back as the San Diego Chicken. Was Ted there at WrestleMania 15 while Pete's wearing his costume?
No.
Okay, so you guys just got the costume. And
we got the costume,
and Pete wore it.
And just wanted him to, yes.
Okay. And then in 2000, though, it's Kane again and Paul Bearer and Rikishi and everybody in the ring. Were you there at WrestleMania 16 in 2000?
I was.
Okay. Now, in that chicken costume, is that Ted Giannoulis?
It may have been.
Okay.
I don't really remember. It's I've been hitting the head an awful lot, and done my share of extracurricular activities through the years. So, hey, some of it can be a little foggy.
And you probably never thought that anybody would ask you who was in the mascot costume dancing with Rikishi at WrestleMania
This is
16.
true. There
But
you go.
do you remember was there discussion? Whose idea was it to put Pete Rose in the chicken costume versus, say, dare I say, the gobbledygooker?
Well, because it was baseball related,
Okay.
and it was so out there that no one would have expected it. Obviously, it wasn't announced. It wasn't something that we promoted, and it was kind of a shock and a bonus moment for the audience. You didn't expect to see the San Diego Chicken. You sure as hell didn't expect to see Pete Rose in the costume.
Nope, absolutely not. And then, of course, one of my favorite, and I had to go back on YouTube and I looked at it. Again, I'll link to it. There was a commercial where Pete and Kane met up again in 2002 for a promo spot for No Mercy. 2010, he's on Raw and again gets chokeslammed by Kane. This is, at the time, what's Pete in his 60s? And he's taking bumps from Kane. What sort of training does Pete have to do that, or does he just say, nope, I'm game, throw me around?
Pete's a natural athlete. You show him what to do, show him how to do it, and he picked it up pretty quickly. So the fact that he's played baseball his entire life, which is a game, not really a sport, he was able to pick that up pretty quickly, and he had some great athleticism.
I alluded to it in 2004, should be Baseball Hall of Famer Pete Rose is the first celebrity inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. If I can borrow a term from your podcast, was that a rib?
Absolutely not. Pete was game for everything.
Oh, come
he was
on.
a big part. What?
No, I'm just channeling Conrad.
Okay, now hang on. Wait a minute now. Here you take his own sport that he devoted his life to, that shafted him, and to me, and again, I am not a baseball fan, but to me, outsider looking in, there's probably no one more deserving than Pete Rose to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I agree.
What he did, he admitted to what he did. He didn't bet against his own team. My God, I would think that should be applauded, that he's so confident in his own team that he's betting that they're going to win. That in and of itself should say that, well, he's a straight-up guy. He didn't lie to anybody, and he stood on his principles, which I have a lot of respect for him. He was a great player, probably arguably one of the greatest of all time, and his own sport shafts him. Says no, because of some guy that wants to be holier than thou. And I think that Pete should have been in the Baseball Hall of Fame a long time ago. So if he's not going to go in there, then he goes in the Hall of Fame that means more than the Baseball Hall of Fame, the WWF Hall of Fame.
Thank you to our guest this week. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can find me on the Twitter at Lucifer Olsen. That's L-O-U-C as in cat, I-F-E-R-O-L-S-E-N. Sean, where can the people find you?
Thanks, Lou. As always, you can find me on Twitter at HOVG. And remember, head on over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/HoloVeryGood, and drop us a like. We'll talk to you later.
Later, boners.